Hello, I hope you're doing well today. My name is Ian Green, and I'm the musician for Music Dreams and also for Ian J. Green, two different artist profiles you can find wherever you stream your music. I've also been teaching music for many years, and I really enjoy working with students on all aspects of theory and also piano performance and music history. And today we're going to be looking at Unit 5, which is part of the Level 10 harmony course that's provided through the Royal Conservatory of Music. Now, I'm going to share my screen today, and we're going to work on this material in a series of parts. And this is part 1, discussing how applied chords can work within a piece of music. Now, as we know, we have different types of cadences that help us to understand the ends of phrases and how musical sentences can finish. And we have different types of cadences that composers have created over the centuries. Now, the type of cadence we're going to be discussing today, and also how we can use that type of cadence in a different way, is the authentic cadence, also known as the dominant chord going to the tonic. Now, of course, we've been working on the dominant seventh chord in other chapters, and also in the level 9 material. So we all know very much. We are very comfortable with that dominant seventh chord and its various functions. But something that's really interesting is when we have something called applied chords. We've discussed this as well in the level 9 harmony course, where we can have something called a dominant of a dominant, or a 5 of 5, or a dominant of now other types of chords in a key. So something that's interesting is how the applied dominant function can work to create color within a piece of music. In this first example by Mr. Mozart, we are in the key of G major, but right away in the second part of bar 1, we go to the dominant seventh chord of 6, also known as E minor. So the spelling of that dominant seventh chord in second inversion, also known as 5-4-3, is spelled F sharp, D sharp, A, and B. The original root chord is B, D sharp, F sharp, A, which is the dominant seventh of E minor. Now, when we think about applied dominant chords, we want to think about how that particular cadence, or 5 going to 1, is applied to the original key. So if we're in the original key of G major, but we see the dominant seventh, B, D sharp, F sharp, A, we know that because of the D sharp and because of the function of that particular chord, we can't say it's the dominant seventh of G. We want to think about how that can be related to another note in the G major scale. So E being the 6th note of the scale, this chord is then functioning in a short term as the dominant seventh of that chord. Now, when we see applied dominant chords, this does not mean that we have changed key. We don't actually move to a new scale for a very long time. These are very short increments. And it sounds really cool. It adds some really nice color. But at the same time, we still remain in that scale of G major. Another applied dominant chord we can see is in the second bar. We now have E, G sharp, B, and D. The E, G sharp, and B are in the bass clef, and E, G sharp, and D are in the bass clef, and the B is in the treble clef, and also it's implied here. Now, we can't say that that's the dominant seventh of G major because that would be incorrect, but it is the dominant seventh of A, which is the second note in the scale, or also known as the supertonic. So we have then E, G sharp, B, and D, which is the dominant seventh of 2, or the supertonic note of that scale. So it's really neat how we can have a beautiful piece of music So we have G major, B7, which is the dominant seventh of E minor, also known as 6. Then we have the dominant seventh of 2. So it's kind of neat how we can see that work. But everything is applied, meaning that the chords we do not change to a new key. It's just thinking about this as a short change by moving into that scale just for a short time, but then transitioning to something else because we have not technically transposed to a new scale. It's just like a short term movement, and I think of it as, again, as a change in coloring. So something that's interesting when thinking about this topic is how the dominant seventh chord function and the different inversions are still the same. It's just now we have to include the accidentals that are applied to that chord that we want to decorate. So I do hope that that information is clear and also helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you next time as we discuss part 2 of this topic. And until then, thanks for enjoying your music and have fun as you continue your studying. Bye for now.